Folks, in my 20 years in the league, I've never seen anything like this. What's unfolding right now is nothing short of explosive. Something so massive, so unprecedented, that even the most seasoned insiders are jaw-dropped. I'm talking about a rumor circulating behind closed doors that could shake the very foundation of the NFL's power structure. If you think you've seen everything in football, think again, because what I'm about to reveal could change the landscape of the league forever. And trust me, there's a secret behind this story that's even bigger, something that's been kept under lock and key, waiting for the right moment to explode. Stay tuned, because what I'm about to share might rewrite history. You better be ready, because this is not just a rumor. This is the seismic shift that could define the 2026 season and beyond. But before we dive into the depths of this revelation, if you want to be truly in the know, don't just sit there. Hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and activate that notification bell. Why? Because those who are truly ahead of the curve will be the ones who get every single detail first. The insiders, the true fans who know what's coming next. If you're tired of being left in the dark, now's the time to lock in. Because what's coming isn't just a story. It's the story, and you'll want to say, I was there when it all began. Now let me take you behind the curtains, into the shadowy corridors of NFL power, where deals are struck in whispers, and futures are rewritten with a single phone call. Right now, a clandestine meeting is underway between the Eagles' front office, Howie Roseman and Nick Sirianni in a rare, secret gathering, and a certain veteran defensive star whose name might surprise you. The buzz? It's about Dalvin Tomlinson. Yes, Dalvin Tomlinson, the big, immovable force we've seen dominate run games for years now. But why now? Why the sudden intense interest from the Eagles? You see, behind the scenes, the Eagles are not just content with their recent Super Bowl victory. They're eyeing something even bigger. They're scouting, scheming, plotting the kind of move that only teams with a true championship mindset can pull off. And the focus, Dalvin Tomlinson. The player who, up to this point, has been quietly minding his own business in Arizona, collecting sacks and stuffing runs, but now the whispers are growing louder. Word is, Philadelphia is positioning itself for a blockbuster trade that could send shockwaves through the league. And here's the kicker. Sources tell me that this isn't just about filling a need. This is about disrupting the entire NFC landscape. Dalvin Tomlinson isn't just a run stuffer. He's an elite interior disruptor, a game wrecker whose presence on the line can transform an entire defense. Imagine him lining up next to Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, creating a fortress in the middle of the field, making every opponent think twice before even trying to run on the Eagles. Think about the implications. This isn't just a quick fix. It's a statement, a declaration that the Eagles are planning to dominate with an era-defining defense once again. Now, I know what you're asking. How can this possibly happen? Well, let me take you inside the secret playbook of NFL trades, the mechanisms that make these blockbuster deals come to life. Because believe me, the gears are already turning behind closed doors. Talks are happening, negotiations are heating up, and the potential trade package might be more complex than you imagine. The Eagles, with their depth of draft picks and salary cap flexibility, are perfectly positioned to make a move. And Tomlinson? Well, he's the missing piece that could turn their already formidable defense into an unstoppable juggernaut. So, buckle up. Because what I'm about to walk you through isn't just speculation. This is grounded in insider intel, film analysis, and league whispers that you won't hear anywhere else. This isn't just about a player. This is about a strategic masterstroke that could be the blueprint for NFL dominance in 2026 and decades to come. Now, I want you to ask yourself, are you really ready to understand what's happening behind the scenes? Because the truth is, the Eagles might be about to do something that will shake the entire NFL to its core. Get ready for a deep dive into the strengths of Dalvin Tomlinson, the game-changing potential he holds, and the secret negotiations that could make this a reality. Trust me, what I'm revealing today is just the beginning. The real story is still hidden, waiting for the perfect moment to unfold. And when that moment arrives, history will remember where they were when it all changed. All right, enough teasing. Let's break down exactly what Philadelphia needs, and how Dalvin Tomlinson fits into that picture like a glove. Because what I'm about to show you will blow your mind, and you'll see why this trade could be the most significant move of the offseason. But don't get comfortable just yet, because the best part is still to come. Stay locked in. Now let's analyze the Philadelphia Eagles' current position. As of January 24, 2026, fresh off their Super Bowl LIX triumph over the Kansas City Chiefs, the Eagles are riding an intense wave of momentum. But like any champion, their front office isn't resting on laurels. They're scrutinizing weaknesses, identifying gaps, and plotting the next big step to sustain their dominance. And from the intel I gathered, this offseason's top priority isn't just adding a piece here or there. It's about transforming their interior defensive line into an impenetrable fortress. What do the analytics say? Well, for starters, Philly's run defense in 2025 wasn't as airtight as you'd hope, especially against power-running teams in the postseason. Opponents managed to gash them at times, exposing a need for more beef, more disruption in the middle. Films indicate that while Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis are disruptive talents, they often lack that veteran presence that can anchor the line during crunch time, someone who commands double teams, occupies multiple blockers, and frees up others. Enter Dalvin Tomlinson, a player whose presence can shift the balance entirely. From a scheme perspective, Sirianni and Fangio want a versatile interior presence, someone who can anchor against the run but also threaten the pocket on passing downs. Tomlinson's style fits perfectly, a technique-savvy, gap-shutting force with enough burst and leverage to collapse the pocket when needed. His ability to hold the point against double teams is exactly what the Eagles need to elevate their defense into an even more bone-crushing unit. Plus, his experience in multiple schemes, 4-3-3-4, even some hybrid looks, makes him adaptable for the Eagles' game plans. Stat-wise, Tomlinson's recent numbers are telling. Over the last 2 seasons with the Vikings and Browns, he's consistently been a top-tier run defender, with grades in the top 10% league-wide for that aspect. His sack numbers aren't prolific, totaling just around 10 over the last 4 seasons, but that's not what he's paid for. His value lies in his ability to occupy blockers and free up pass rushers like Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, and even edge talents that the Eagles have accumulated. Advanced metrics, like Football Outsiders, DVOA against the run, rank him among the elite in his class. But make no mistake, what's truly explosive about Tomlinson is his leadership and locker room presence. When you speak to those who have played alongside him or worked with him, they talk about a relentless professional, an unselfish player who truly understands his role and elevates those around him. And in an Eagles locker room filled with talent, adding a veteran who commands respect can be a game changer for their internal culture. Now, why now? Because the timing couldn't be better. The Eagles have the draft capital, the cap space, or at least the flexibility and the strategic motivation. They see the window, and they're willing to push all in. Rumors suggest that the Eagles are prepared to part with a combination of mid-round picks, perhaps a future second or third, and most crucially, make some salary cap maneuvers to facilitate this move. It's a chess game, and right now, Philly is making all the right moves behind the scenes. So what makes Dalvin Tomlinson the perfect fit? It's simple: stability, versatility, and elite run-stopping ability. But the real question is, how do they get him? That's where the trade mechanics come in. Let's get into how the potential trade might look. Given Tomlinson's current contract, 2 years, roughly $29 million, the Eagles will need to craft a deal that makes sense for both sides. As of now, Philadelphia's cap situation is flexible enough for a player of Tomlinson's caliber, especially if they throw in a modest sweetener or restructure some existing deals. The most logical approach. Philly could offer a day 2 pick, say a 2026 second-rounder, and a conditional late-round pick in 2027, depending on performance incentives or team success. They might also consider including a veteran player or a future 7th-rounder to sweeten the pot. But the core of the deal is the draft capital, which the Eagles heavily value in their rebuild-for-championship model. On the Cardinals' side, they're in a rebuilding phase, and acquiring draft picks for a veteran like Tomlinson makes sense. Arizona's front office, led by GM Monty Ossenfort, has shown a willingness to retool quickly. Plus, with their recent struggles on defense, they might prioritize acquiring young assets or cap relief. Cap gymnastics. The Eagles can easily maneuver by restructuring a small portion of their existing deals, possibly extending some players with minimal guarantees or converting salary into signing bonuses to push the cap hit into manageable territory. For the Cardinals, releasing or restructuring existing contracts could facilitate the trade without major cap penalties. The winners? Philadelphia gets a proven interior force, someone who can anchor their defense for at least the next 2 seasons, at a price that won't break the bank. The Cardinals, meanwhile, gain valuable draft capital and cap relief to accelerate their rebuild. But the real losers? Only those teams stuck in the past, unwilling to adapt. Because this move isn't just about immediate impact. It's about setting a new standard, forcing the league to rethink how to counter Philadelphia's dominant front. The whispers suggest that other NFC contenders are already on high alert, preparing their countermeasures to stop the inevitable. Now let's analyze how Dalvin Tomlinson fits into the Eagles' scheme. Sirianni wants a flexible, disruptive interior presence, someone who can play multiple techniques, occupy double teams, and blow up runs with relentless power. Fangio's defense demands precision and versatility, and Tomlinson's skill set aligns perfectly. Remember, he's not a finesse pass rusher. He's a technician who thrives in chaos, a nightmare for interior linemen trying to get a push. Comparison-wise, think of him as the modern-day Damon Harrison, an immovable object who can also push the pocket at times. He's not the flashiest, but his reliability and consistency make him invaluable. In worst-case scenarios, he elevates the team's run defense from good to elite, forcing opponents into predictable passing downs, where the Eagles' secondary and pass rush thrive. Best-case scenario. He becomes the heartbeat of Philly's defense, transforming their front into the league's most feared. Opposing offenses will think twice before running inside, fearing a disruption that begins with him. This added presence will give Fangio even more options, more blitz packages, more flexibility in coverage, and less stress on secondary players like Tarek Castrofields or Brandon Johnson, who will benefit from the extra attention. Of course, no move is without risk. If Tomlinson's age, 31 now, starts to show signs of decline, or if injuries hit, his impact could wane. But early signs indicate he's maintained his elite conditioning, and sources tell me he's motivated as ever to chase another Super Bowl. So yes, the potential of this trade isn't just about filling a gap. It's about creating a defensive juggernaut, one that defines a generation and leaves a legacy. The Eagles, with their combination of talent, coaching, and now a potential superstar in the middle, are positioning themselves to dominate the NFC once again. And now, to my final verdict. I believe this is no longer just rumor. It's a calculated move that the Eagles are fully serious about executing. Watch the upcoming weeks because the dominoes are already falling. If this trade goes through, it signals a new era, an era where Philadelphia asserts its dominance with a defense that's as legendary as their Super Bowl triumphs. It's a bold, ambitious move, and the ramifications will be felt league-wide. Keep your eyes peeled because this story is just beginning. The NFL landscape is about to be reshaped, and where you are right now, you're witnessing history unfolding. This isn't just a trade, it's a statement, a revolution, and the best part, the real fireworks are still coming. Are you ready for what's next? Because I guarantee this isn't the last time you'll hear my name in connection with this saga. Stay tuned, the league will never be the same.